and Indonesia have agreed to upgrade their ties to comprehensive strategic partnership as the two countries signed 15 agreements, including one on the defense cooperation after the extensive talk between the Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi and Indonesian President Joko Widodo in Jakarta. The two leaders highlighted the potential areas of cooperation in marine economy and socio-culture, as well as discussed the regional and global issues. The highlight of Modi's visit to Indonesia, strategically speaking, was the military access India got to the country's Sabang port, adds to the growing naval heft in the neighbourhood of India. The Sabang and Indonesia, its position at the mouth of Malacca Strait makes it crucial. The Malacca Strait is the main shipping lane between the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean and one of the busiest sea routes. The deep sea route, deep enough for the submarines too as well, will help counter China's rising maritime influence in the region. India also has its Navy military base in the Indian Ocean in Oman, Seychelles, Sabang port, and also in Mauritius. So what do you think of India's new extension towards Indonesia's military base? Will it help India-US ties to threat against the China, or just a straight threat against China in the South China Sea and the Indian Ocean? China's mighty strategic shadow hangs over an accord signed by India and France on Saturday, aimed at stepping up the military cooperation in the Indian Ocean. Under the deal signed by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India and the President of France Emmanuel Macron, each country will open its naval bases to warships. China's territorial ambitions in the South China Sea already worried world powers, and its move into the vast Indian Ocean stretching from the Suez Canal to the Malacca Strait has heightened the concern. Modi and Macron are particularly anxious as China extended its military presence by opening a naval base in the eastern African nation of Djibouti last year. Beijing is also building up its trading network, so-called the One Belt One Road Initiative or the Belt and Road Initiative, which involves many of the Asian and the African nations that line the Indian Ocean. It has built a port in Pakistan border, taken a 99-year lease in Sri Lanka's Hambantota port, and bought a number of tiny islands in the Maldives. All of this has alarmed India, which sits at the heart of the Indian Ocean region. New Delhi experts see the Chinese company's investment in the asset ranging from airports to the Bangladesh Stock Exchange as Beijing is a Trojan horse. They essentially work at the behest of the state, and all of their investments are actually not commercial investments, but strategic investments, and they are meant to serve as the geopolitical purpose, said Abhijit Singh, a New Delhi-based think tank. Modi made clear when he came to power in 2014 that boosting India's influence in its immediate neighborhood was a strategic priority. India has stepped up its patrols in Sunda Strait in the eastern Indian Ocean and Persian Gulf, while boosting its maritime surveillance capability around the Andaman and Nicobar Islands of Myanmar, where Chinese battleships and submarines have increasingly been on patrol. The Reunion Islands is in the turn of key of French territory in the Indian Ocean, and Paris also has an extensive Pacific interest. We have a strong maritime power, a big navy with our nuclear submarines, Macron said in an interview with Indian television broadcast on Friday. France is very active in this region, to the present's collective security, and for to more India is one of their critical partners to preserve the stability in the whole region. China strongly denies any territorial motive against India despite its huge investments and military moves. The two countries are partners in development, not rivals, said the Foreign Minister of China. Louis Zhonghe, a specialist at the Shanghai Institute of International Studies, told the AFP that India was using China's threat to extend its own military power. Some international experts have doubt about Modi's response to China in the Indian Ocean and elsewhere. On a regional level, the Modi government has not proposed a convenient or convincing alternative to the new Silk Road proposed by Chinese leader Xi Jinping. But the country is growing, deploying submarines, and situations could quickly change to India's disadvantage. India just does not have the same financial and administrative strength as China, said Isabel Saint-Mazat, a South Asia specialist at the Paris 8th University Institute of Geopolitics. So what do you think of India's growing maritime surveillance and growing up its Indian naval bases around the Indian Ocean, from getting Singapore, Oman, and from Mauritius and now to French Islands? Is India is growing stronger in the Indian Ocean, or India is losing to Chinese patrols and naval bases? In New Delhi, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu begins a 6-day visit to India on Sunday, hoping to boost the trade ties and iron out of difference arising from New Delhi's decision to scrap a defense deal, officials from both sides said. Israel's state-owned defense contractor Rafael announced on January 3rd that India had cancelled $500 million order to buy its Spike anti-tank guided missiles. Indian media said Delhi would instead opt for a homemade anti-tank missiles. If there is a problem, it can, it should, and it will be solved, said Daniel Karmon, an Israel ambassador to India, referring to the cancellation of the defense deals. India is Israel's biggest arms market, buying around $1 billion worth of weapons every year. Despite the cancellation of missiles deal, Defense Minister said this month it had cleared a plan worth of $72 million to buy 131 Barak surface-to-air missiles built by Rafael. The two countries have grown closer since Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister of India in 2014, widening the commercial cooperation beyond other outstanding defense ties. Netanyahu will be accompanied by 130-member delegations drawn from the cyber and the agriculture sector, as well as from the defense. As well as New Delhi, they will also visit Mumbai and Modi's home state of Gujarat. The intention of the Prime Minister of India and the whole delegation is to boost trade, investment and tourism between both countries, said Gilad Kogan, the Deputy Director General for Asia and the Pacific in the Israel Foreign Ministry. The deals for the gas and the oil corporations, cyber security and agricultural projects on the agenda while the meeting of the Israel Prime Minister. The trip comes about a half year after Modi became the first sitting Prime Minister of India visiting Israel. On the trip, Modi did not travel to the occupied West Bank to meet the Palestinian leaders, as the visiting leaders of India usually do. However, India was among the more than 120 countries last month to vote in favor of a resolution calling for the United States to drop its recent recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. The status of Jerusalem is one of the thorniest obstacles to the peace deals between Israel and the Palestinians. Cameron said India's oath against Israel at the UN General Assembly on the Jerusalem issue would not be affected by the bilateral ties. The vote at the UN is important, but it will not matter the big picture of India-Israel relationship, he said. The foreign policy expert in New Delhi said Mr. Modi had made significant changes in the diplomatic and the strategic ties with Israel, while at the same time retaining links with Palestinian leaders Mahmoud Abbas. Before Modi visited Israel in 2017 July, he hosted Abbas in India and offered help in the health and information technology. But it was a low-key profile meeting of India and Palestine. So what do you think of India's economic slowdown and agriculture slowdown because of Modi being the Prime Minister of India and having only the defense ties going up and up in the budget and to the connections and the making of defense companies in India? Will the Israeli and Indian Prime Minister will go by the dictatorship as they do now? Post your comments below, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and follow us on social networks and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.